being live. If I am, it's kind of just a surprise. It'd be a last minute sort of thing, but I'm not planning on it. But I have planned Monday to Wednesday this week. So as long as I'm live a couple days this week, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. I just decided I didn't feel great on Friday, and I was like, I don't think I should stream. And I don't like streaming when I have low energy. It kind of just bums me out, and I think it like makes everyone's energy kind of, you know, doesn't help anyone. So there's no point in me streaming if I don't have the like physical energy. And like it wasn't even really mental energy either. It was just like physical energy. I was just like, I felt like I was on the verge of something like the whole day. I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to you guys, and I'm not going to do it to myself. I was like, get over the guilt. You're allowed to have a day off. So I did. But yeah, this week we should be okay for almost every normal day. Like I say, almost every day. Let me change what I listen to because I hate when I put my playlist on and it starts at the beginning and it's the same music every time I stream. I hate that. Even though you can't really hear it, it's kind of quiet, but you know, it's fine. I don't like hearing the same thing again and again. It bugs me out. I don't like it. It gets annoying. Like I'm the kind of person as well that will listen to the same song over and over and over and over again. Like, don't even get me started. I will do it with like, I will listen to the same song all day. Like 10 hours of the same song and I'm fine. But if I'm listening to a playlist and it's the same songs constantly, it's very annoying. And with Spotify, for some reason, the shuffle doesn't work. And it has a very big preference as to which person it wants me to listen to. And I love SZA. I do. That's why she's in my playlist. It's literally a favorites playlist. I made it with all the favorites and stuff. Tell me why it's only making me listen to SZA. It gives like 5 SZA songs in a row. And I know it's because the first album I added to it was her like most recent album, like the deluxe version and stuff. But I'm like, calm down. Don't just play the same album over and over again, please. I have literally got like majority of every single album of Taylor Swift's in there and it still plays. Oh, and Noah Kahan's as well. And yet it still plays just SZA. And it makes no sense. So we have to kind of like scroll through and pick a random one to start from so that we actually hear the rest of the music on the playlist. Because wait, how long is this playlist? I don't even know how like long it is. Where is it at the top? It's a 10-hour playlist. Whoa. Whoa. That's kind of long. I didn't realize it was that long. Jeez. Wait, I swear I added like Sabrina's new song. Wait, where's it gone? There we go. Where is it? There. I swear I added it to the playlist. It's just not there. That's weird. Cute. Okay. Well, we've established my playlist is extremely long, but that's fine. Like I say, I just go through it and just like pick a random song to start it from. Otherwise, we're listening to the same stuff for a whole 3 hours every week. But I haven't been playing PALIA all week. I'm not gonna lie. Fortnite had a new season, and I might be addicted. So I have kind of been playing that for like the last 2 days. But prior to that, I don't really think I did too much in terms of gaming. I kind of played a little bit of Splitgate too as well. I've been playing all the shooter games. I haven't done room for CosyKas. But we're playing PALIA again, obviously, today. I think I put weeklies because I think I need to get my weeklies done. I haven't been doing them, and there's some skills that I don't do regularly, like on a normal day-to-day basis. Like I don't do them if I'm playing, so like I need to do my weeklies every week. So I think we should dedicate Monday to doing weeklies, and then if we find plushies along the way, we find plushies. That's why I put that there for the good omen, right? Being like, hey, give me the plushies. You know I want them. You know, we got the little cow guy last time. I'm so happy about that. Still, I'm still so buzzing about it. Like, it was literally like, what, 30 minutes before we ended stream. So perfect. I don't think it could have gone any more perfect. So, yes, we're gonna just do some weeklies. I don't think I'm gonna do the cooking. I honestly, I ignore cooking unless I need food. I haven't needed food. Do you know how long it's been since I've eaten food religiously in this game? A long time. I cooked all that food before the update, and I just like I don't use it. So stupid. Hello, I hope your day is going well. Is it? I can't remember how to say your name again correctly. Hang on. Okay. I am terrible at remembering how to pronounce people's names. Yes, thank you. I hope your day is going well though. Tony, hello. I hope everyone's day is going well. Since I hit 50 in all skills, I don't bother that often with food. Food is just useless at this point. I don't need it. I don't care about it. I have so much food in my like storage. I don't need it. It's useless, right? At least I'm not the only one. I just don't. We're not gonna do food. We'll do the other weeklies though. Yeah, I hope yours is too. It's been good. It's been chill. I played like I said. I played Fortnite all morning. Shamelessly as well. Like shamelessly, I played Fortnite for like 3 hours this morning. Did I get a win? No. I had fun though. I had fun. I was playing ranked, so I mean, it just doesn't matter. But yeah, I had fun. So I've literally not played anything cozy all weekend. My mum was like, on Friday, I didn't stream on Friday because I just like, my energy was so bad. I didn't want to like push that on you guys. It would have been very bad. So I played Splitgate 2. She was like, my mum was like, oh, you should play something nice. Watch something nice. And I'm like, no, let me go and play a shooter game. It worked. It made me feel a little bit better. I do now and then when I feel like chipping away a little bit at the accomplishment. Oh, okay. So I just don't do them. I don't even do my weeklies, which is why I'm going to try and do them every Monday now. And if we forget on Monday, we'll do it on Tuesday, and it'll just roll over till at the end of the week, and then we'll get them done. But yeah, I don't know which one we're going to start with. I think we'll just do it in order, or we'll just do it as it goes. I don't know. Like I said, if we find plushies, we find plushies. I'm welcoming all the plushies in. I'm currently sat in front of the little cow guy that we got, and I'm hoping for another one. And I think anything we get, I'm pretty much going to sell and then buy Zeki coins so I can get plushies because I really want more of them. So we're gonna go do that. Let me get the game up. Let's see. I reset my sound. I re-downloaded the program I use. So if anything is wrong with my sound, do let me know. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully we have no problems. But you just add to your house. Wait, did you add like a extension to it? I'm getting the hang of this finally. Nice. Let's go. You're gonna have like a big mansion soon. I feel the same way now. I feel the same way now then. So I jump on Assassin's Creed game and assassinate a few NPCs and that cheers me up. I don't know what it is. Sometimes cozy games are like the thing, right? That you really want. You really just want to like not do anything. You just want to chill. Sometimes I miss playing like Fortnite or Valorant or something and I'm just like, I need to play them. So I've told myself like, PALIA during stream, Fortnite off stream. First extension, nice. Love your character. I changed the outfit because I was like, I'm feeling the frogs today. And I've had the that like purple outfit on for a couple of streams. So we're feeling the frogs. Sometimes you just want to rage. Honestly, like, I rage at Fortnite. Not as much as I used to. I used to be really bad because it was all I used to play. I got really bad. I've only slammed on the desk once. But verbally, like, my rage is terrible. Today I only did raged once. Just once. So I'm proud of myself, okay? But we're gonna get the rage can like fly away and leave me alone while we play PALIA. I could bring the rage back afterwards. Yeah, we need to try and get more of these guys. Because how cute. How cute. I love him. He's so cute. I love him. We can go water my plants now. But I also, actually, I finished my first book. I don't know if I told you guys that. Was it during last stream or was it after last stream? Because I actually fully finished it now. So I've finally finished a book. At ripe age of 25. You know? Love to hear it. I gotta go model on now, be back up in lunch and take me too long. Oh, I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't. But I'll see you soon. Hell yeah. I mean, it took me 25 years to do it purely because I find reading so difficult. But let me tell you, I have never enjoyed reading before. I always wanted to read. Oh, you only need one artifact. We'll try and see if I have it. If you come back and ask, like, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I've never enjoyed reading before, and it always upset me that I didn't, because I always wanted to, and it bugged me that I just couldn't get into reading no matter what I did. And so I needed to, like, just do it. Just try my best and just do it. That was bugging me. And so I decided to, like, just sit down and fully read every night. And so far, I've managed to read a very decent amount now, because finishing a book, right? That's a good achievement. But now I have 2 more books I need to read that I already have. Then I can start buying new ones. But every time I come close to a book in a shop, I'm like, I need it. But I'm lucky as well. Being British, like, our books are so much cheaper than, like, in America. Some of those prices you guys have on those books are insane. I don't know what that's about. But we can buy books for, like, I go to TK Maxx a lot, and they have books that are on sale. Like, they're already cheaper than the normal price that they would be. But then they're on sale because no one's buying it. And it's the prettiest book. And it's like £3. £3! Yes, I'm gonna buy it. Of course I'm gonna buy it, right? It just makes complete sense. Expensive as hell here. It's insane. I've seen people do the challenge where it's like their birthday and like their boyfriend or like, you know, get some books for them or something in like a certain amount of time. So like they run around the shop and pick up the books in like 5 minutes or something. If you did that in UK, it might be £100-200, right? But in America, that's gonna cost you a mortgage. It's kind of ridiculous. I just go thrift stores or go for books. See, they probably cost the same as the majority of our books that are brand new, which is why I find it insane, because even if I went to the charity shop, which is what we call it, thrift stores essentially, yeah, they would be like £1 or $1, whatever you wanna say. It would be that. That's it. They'd probably be. I've even seen books for like 50p, which is half of £1. They're insanely cheap, and some of them are actually really, really good. So I don't understand why in other countries books can cost so much. I just find it insane. Like, it's the one thing I'm very, like, grateful of, like, in terms of pricing and stuff. It's one of the cheapest, like, places. And we have a shop that I haven't been to for books before, so I'm gonna have to probably go there and have a look. But I know people say that the shop, The Works, has the cheapest books you could probably find. And, like, you can go to another shop that sells the exact same book and it'll cost, like, 3 times the amount. And I'm just like, are you kidding me right now? Like, I would have so many books. I would have so many books. And the thing is, I don't have anywhere to put books, right? Because up here I have, like, one of those IKEA shelves. I have, like, the 4 boxes, like, as, like, a shelf. And I hate it. But if I was to do anything, I'm gonna need a bookshelf back here, like, because I've my guitar that I'm still waiting for. It's gonna go on like this wall by my window, but then I have my bedside table, my bed. I have a space that I could fit a bookshelf, and at this rate, I think I might have to buy one. I use those for Lego builds. I see a lot of people use them for that. They do actually make like a big Lego block, like box to put them into that fits really well, I think. So I got that shelf so long ago, though. It's been with me since high school, through college, and now I'm about a year off graduating from my degree. Like, it's been in my life for far too long. I need to get rid of it. But yeah, I don't know. I think I need some sort of shelving situation in my room, because I don't have anywhere to put books. Like, the only book that I have on the shelf is the Eras Tour book because it's on my, like, little Taylor shelf. But, hello! Welcome in! Oh, let me do the thing. I need to do the thing. I always forget to do the thing. Where is it? Oh, no. Did I do it? Is it working? It said did it, but it didn't do it. It didn't do the raid message. No! Let me type it in. It's not working! Oh no! Wait, is stream okay? Stream's okay. Guys, I don't know what's happening with the, It's the wrong one. There we go. It should work. It should have worked. Please tell me it worked. Hello? Wait, is my stream okay? My commands are not working and I just got raided twice. Guys, hello, welcome in. My stream seems okay. I don't know what's going on. I'm so sorry. The Raiders thing is not working. Let me go into Streamlabs real quick. I made that for a reason, and now it's being rude and it's not showing it to you guys. There it is. It came through. It came through. Is everything okay? I see the intro message. I'm so sorry. I don't know why it wasn't showing for me. Oh, good. I know how it is. How you doing? I'm doing really, really good. Now you guys are all here. I hope everyone's day was good. How was stream? I hope you guys had a good stream. I don't know why it didn't send that. That's really odd. Really odd. Because now I see all you guys' messages. That's so weird. It must be on my end. That she meant, yep. Yeah, it's there. I don't know why I did that. I'm so sorry about that. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, the chat's not working on my phone either, so I don't know what's going on. But we were just about to go and do some weeklies. I haven't done any of them yet. I haven't played in a couple of days, so we have a lot to do. But yeah, I hope everyone has had a good day. It's been an okay day today, actually. It's actually not that miserable. I say that, but it's probably going to start raining soon, but we love rain. We love rain. I absolutely love rain, especially when I'm inside. When I'm outside, I'm not too friendly with it. But when I'm inside, I love rain so much. Twitch be twitching. Literally, it does it to me all the time. I go into people's chats and I like type a message and I can't see anyone else talking, but there's like 1,000 people in there. I'm like, someone's got to be talking somewhere and there's no messages. So I don't know what that's about. But what weeklies should we start with? Books. Okay, let's just go to the Eldwood for that, just because why not? I live there right now. I live there, let's be real. Thanks for the follow, I appreciate it. My follower alerts, by the way, are anonymous. If anyone doesn't want to be called out, you can chill, you can lurk. We like lurkers. Lurkers are very, very welcome. Fellow Yorkshire gal, I got a raid and run so that I can walk the doggos before it rains. But enjoy the rest of your stream. Thank you so much for being here, though. I appreciate it. I hope the weather is nice to you, though. Like I say, it looks good right now. It's a little grey, but it's not raining. It's perfectly fine. It won't rain until you get back home. Okay, we need to catch some bugs. Wait, uncommon bugs. Are these going to be uncommon? Oh, we need to do 30 normal bugs and these ones. Wait. I played this week? Oh, I didn't even know we'd played. We're streaming with... Oh, you guys are streaming together. You were co-streaming. Love that. How's your day going? I hope it's going well. South Yorkshire is looking very grey right now. Oh, I'm in West Yorkshire. It looks white. Not quite grey, but the sky's quite white, so... Hopefully the clouds are good to you, though. Yeah, I feel like the weather right now, at least in Yorkshire, like I say, it's complicated, I think is a good word. It's kind of like it rains one second and then it's sunny the next, but it's like 15 degrees and it's not even hot, which honestly 15 degrees can be kind of... Oh, didn't mean to do that. 15 degrees can be hot if it wants to be. I don't know how, but it can be. So when it's like anything above 10 and I'm cold, I'm like, what is going on? You know, it's very confusing. I never know what to wear. I never know, like, if I can snuggle up with a blanket or not. I'm always like, Les, hello. How's your day going? I hope it's going well. Ah, pesky bug not wanting to be caught. Let's go up this way. I don't know. The weather is very confusing. I just wish it would sort itself out. I wish I knew, like, you know when you're getting dressed to leave the house and you just, like, have no idea. It's very frustrating. Wait. Where is this? Oh, it's down here. Ah. Oh, chill the fuck alone because dogs were lazy? Oh, no. This is why I think that if I was going to be an animal, I'd be a dog. Did I need that? I don't know if I needed that, but here, I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah, did the dogs not want to go on a walk? That's so funny. Next time. I love that. Like, I've seen people sometimes say, like, I've seen videos on TikTok where people complain that they haven't seen the person post videos of their dogs going on a walk, and I'm just like, one, you don't know this person. You don't know what they're doing with their day. They're not showing everything to you. And a lot of the time, these dogs don't want to go on a walk. Like, the lazy dogs that purely are like, no, do not dare take me outside. I do not want to go out there right now. Don't you dare. I love that. I don't think they know their dogs. I don't think they know their dogs. I think they think they're human. I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if dogs think the same as, like, babies, where they think they're actually connected to their human. You know? Like, babies for a certain amount of time, once they're born, they actually believe they're a part of the mother, which is, like, really, like, odd, but I like it. It's cool. It's like, I wonder if dogs think that. But, like, their whole life, they just think that the human is them. One would have the other didn't, and they're a package deal. Oh, God. They're teaming up on you. That's not good. Wait, I can catch these now. I don't know if we should go for the small plushies today or not. Maybe we do with the hunting and see if we get one. I'm not sure if we'll get lucky enough for it, but we'll see. Like, I'm gonna sell pretty much everything we get from these weeklies so that I can buy Zeki coins. Because after last stream, when we got that plushie, I was so happy. I did not expect that to happen. Like, if it was gonna happen, I thought it would have happened with hunting or something like that. And it didn't. It happened with Zeki coins. So now I feel like I need to do Zeki coins. Also, my music is extremely quiet. It's one thing for it to be quiet, but I just like to hear the whisper of my music. And that might be a little weird to some people, but for me, I just like that little whisper of it. I do find it kind of funny, actually, how now that I have so much money in game, I don't feel the need to hunt everything I see or, like, pick up everything I see. Whereas before, I was very much like, felt like the need to pick everything. I just don't feel like that now. I walk past everything unless I need it. I don't need to do that anymore. I got that. In fact, how much do we need to do on these now? Relics. Obviously, we'll do those if we finish this. And fish. Fish is a big one. Other than that, though, like, fish food. Fish food and furniture. Fish food and furniture. That's kind of controversial, right? I just left all the Fs to last. I did not intend to do that. I don't know if I can pick up frogs as a part of the achievement. Oh, I don't know if it'll count. I would assume it does because it's part of that skill, but I don't know. I think we'll just do like insects instead. I think that would make a little bit more sense. I would much prefer that. Because I think they're going to sell for a little bit more. I mean, the fish sell for more, so I would assume maybe the bugs cost more. What are they like? Yeah, wait. Some of these are definitely more than what the frogs are going to be. I think the majority of the frogs are like 20. So, yeah, let's stick to bugs. Technically, according to PALIA, they're all bugs, but, you know, it's fine. We'll go back somewhere else because this is not the place for them, apparently. How many more do we need? We need 17. Where did I get 17 from? 19. My brain. My brain. Oh my. You can tell it's been a couple of days since I read because I was getting better at reading and it seems as though my ability to read has now been lost after a couple of days of not reading. Come on. Let me catch you. Thank you. Uh-oh. 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 Yeah, last night when I was playing Fortnite all day yesterday. It came out early. Usually Fortnite seasons come out on like the morning for the UK. But instead, this time they changed it so that it came out very late for the UK. So I didn't play until yesterday. I think it was like all day yesterday. But I played all day that I was like, oh, I need to do my going live story like stuff. And I didn't do them. So I did them in bed. I was about to go to sleep and I was like, if I don't do it now, I'm going to forget. And if I forget to do that, I will forget to tweet it. I will forget to like post it anywhere. And no one's going to know that I'm streaming. So I had to do it on my phone. But I use Canva, so it isn't difficult. It's just... It's easier to use Canva on a PC than it is on a phone. I don't know why. I think it's because of my hands. My fingers are not... I'd have little fingers. I have sausage fingers, right? So like, it makes it kind of difficult. So yeah, but I did it. It was fine. I was like, if I didn't do it, I wouldn't have done it at all. And because I cancelled last stream, I would have thought a lot of people would have been like, oh, she's just not going live today. No, I am. Ooh, we should do that. Does this count now? Let's see. Let's see. Wait, where is it? Yeah, wait, I don't even remember doing any of these. Is it because my last stream was less than a week ago? Or something weird? I just feel like, don't they reset on a Monday? That's very confusing. The game is confusing me like crazy. It's like telling me I've done a bunch of the weeklies when I haven't. I promise I didn't do them before I started stream. I may have watered my plants once. But that was it. So I don't know why it's lying to me. Lying to me. What's the best way to make money early in PALIA? Honestly... From like, if I was to start over now, like I'm no like expert on like advice when it comes to this like stuff, but personally I'd probably do something you enjoy is like the most important part, because like if you do something you don't like, you're gonna start to like resent the game. Like I'm not gonna lie, but hunting in general is the best moneymaker to me, no matter what. And like, if you can hunt in Killamore, that's probably the easiest thing. And it will add up somewhat quick. But a lot of people will tell you to just do gardening. But it's very passive. It's very passive. You don't do much. You just water the plants and then sell them. But that gets complicated really quick. I would say just honestly, if you enjoy hunting, go hunt. If not, maybe you could do some book catching. They're both as like... Oh, we've come the wrong way, guys. Book catching or hunting, depending on like what you're hunting like and stuff. I enjoy hunting if I want to make money. I made the majority of my money, minus the frog money from the frog glitch. the majority of my money was from hunting. And it does add up. Especially if you don't have much money. Like, if you're on, like, 0 money and, like, you don't know what to do, hunting will make you money, like, relatively quick. You can make a couple of thousand, like, very shortly. Like yapping cake pies, if you enjoy fishing and hunting is always great. Gardening and putting them in barrels makes himself more. Yeah, see, like Les said. I would say if you want to be a little bit more complicated, then do, like, gardening and turn them into like, your, produce and stuff. That is a really, really good way of doing it. Like, apple trees for, like, apple seeds, but you might not have that yet. But yeah. Yeah, I like hunting. Hunting for me is great, but fishing's also really great as well. I used to do fishing. I used to just sell every fish I found. I used to just literally do fishing for a couple of hours, and then at the end of it, I would just sell every fish. Which is, like, it's not the most efficient, but it worked. It worked at the time, because I didn't have much. Like I say, every time you just don't really have much money at all anyway, like, anything will make you money decently quick. But I spent so long doing things I didn't like. Doing things I did not like just so I can make money and things. And it was just like, why am I doing that to myself? You know? Yes. Oh, wait, that's not the right one. Ignore that one. Ignore that one. This one. Yeah, it's working. There you go. PALIA party link's on there. It should be anyway. I think. But yeah, it's like the 3rd one to the end. You can volunteer for oven and you get free cakes. I didn't know you could do it for free like that. I just usually do mixing because it's like, if you miss the mix, other people will do it. And, you know, you don't really get called out for it. So that's what I usually do. If I do cake pies. Also mixing. Yeah, see. I like mixing because I used to just... Basically, what I used to do was... I enjoy foraging a lot, no matter what the game is. It's just a thing. I don't know why. I don't have a reason. I don't have a reason I can give. I just enjoy foraging. It's just like dilly-dallying and stuff, right? Thanks for follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like dilly-dallying. So foraging's really good. I used to just go pick up a load of sweet leaf. I would spend like an hour just like watching something and picking up sweet leaf while doing it. And it's like very like zone, like turn off zone off into the distance type thing. And then I would just go to cake pies and just vibe with that. Just like click one button, click another button. It was very easy. It was like E, left click, E, left click, and done. But I would sometimes get very distracted. And I would forget to mix. My friend, I see you. I hope you're having a good day. Thank you for the look. I appreciate it. But yeah, don't be like me. If you're gonna go to cake parties, don't get distracted. It's all cool. It's all fun to, like, you know, just sort of chill and watch something while you're doing it. But where is she going? What the? But pay a little bit of attention. Just a little bit. You know. Love a cake pie. Love a cake pie. I just haven't done them in forever. They're kind of not as good now as they were, I guess. Back to the shows. Hope you're well, lovely. I am good. I hope your day is going good. We're trying to find bugs, but I can't find much right now. For some reason. Is anyone else the same with Elderwood, where it's like Bahari? I used to get, you know, kind of confused, and I would go around in circles and not know where I was. But now in Bahari, I know where I'm going, and it's transferred over to Elderwood. I go in circles for like 10 minutes until I realize I'm going around in circles. It's kind of annoying me. I circle around from here to the Ogapoo place, and that's it. I never make my way up to the Grove or anything. I think we need to fast travel, because I have been going in circles for about a good 10 minutes. Oh. Yeah, you can tell I've been playing Fortnite and not PALIA with this like situation right now. I'm missing everything. Funniest thing is, you would think if I was playing at Fortnite that my aim in PALIA would be good. But no. Of course not. Of course not. I don't know if we needed any of these. Did we need these? Maybe I needed one of them. Hopefully I needed one of them. Because I don't know if we can do any of the other artifacts yet. Or relics yet. I'm not sure. Wait, growth. Like, I know that I bought a couple of them. And at least a good couple of them can be made, essentially, right now. I don't like the ones on stream where it's like, you can only do it at certain times. It kind of bugs me a little bit. Like, I don't want to do, like, finding a bug, but it only spawns at, like, 6 a.m. and it's, like, 6 p.m. and we have to wait, like, 10 minutes or whatever. It's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But the other stuff is perfectly fine. But I don't think we'll need to do anything else today except for these weeklies, because this one's taking me, like, 30 minutes so far. I think we're chilling with what to do. I always question what I want to do on stream before I actually set up the stream, like 2 hours before, and I'm always like, what am I actually going to do today? I just sit there and I'm like, okay, we don't need to make money anymore. What's the thing? It's like, I'm almost thinking about getting rid of half my money. And I know that sounds kind of insane. That sounds kind of crazy. Why would I do that? I spent all that time catching those frogs. But something deep down is telling me, like, girl, you missed the grind. You need to sell it. You need to sell the stuff and... Not sell the stuff, but buy things. Get rid of the money and move on. Right? That's how I'm looking at it. I won't get rid of all my money. I need some. I do need some. But... I have too much. I have too much. We did it. Yes, we did it. Okay. We're ignoring food. We don't care about food. Let's go. Let's do the foraging one. That's simple enough. Get that one done. I will probably do the fishing one last. Maybe. Let's go back to here. Is it 10 trees? It's not many trees. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Twitch is lively today. Everyone woke up on Monday and said, I'm gonna go watch a Twitch stream. Hello. Rude. Wait, why is the wood bugged? Why does the wood look like light wood? So weird. Does it normally do that? I don't feel like I've ever seen it do that. Honestly, I think I could have done these weeklies in like Bahari or something. But like, I've just not gotten over it. I feel like I can't leave. I'm like stuck here. Unless a quest leads me somewhere else. Kind of ridiculous. Kind of ridiculous. Yeah. Did I get that? I hope I got that. Because then it'll count, right? Hopefully it counts. Hopefully it counts as doing it with someone. And then I have that one done. Okay, my hair's annoying me right now. Get out my eyes. Honestly, I curled my hair this morning, and then I was like just about to start stream, and my hair was just like, it had no wave, no nothing. It was like straight, and I'm like, it's really annoying when you have like hair that doesn't know what to do. My hair is not straight and it is not curly. It is barely even wavy. It makes no sense. Like yesterday I had it natural and I was just like, see, this looks nice. And then 10 minutes later it drops to like puffiness. It goes from being like nice wavy to like puffy wavy or like really flat. And I'm like, why can't you just behave? Right? Why can you not just behave? Okay, I think... Oh, wait. Can I do this? Does this count? I just realized. Does this count as a magical tree? Does it? Wait, where is it? No, it doesn't. Okay, okay. We are gonna be forced to go to Bahari then. Well... If there was ever a time, it was just like, you know, a couple minutes after saying that, so... Let's go. We'll go to Bahari and see if we can find some. And then maybe we can do the rest of the stuff while I'm there too. But we'll come back here to do the fishing. Because then at least I might find fish I don't have yet. But also, like, let's check the... Oh, let's check this. We have a couple of things we need to do before we leave. No. No. Okay, we didn't get any of those. Oh, I didn't need the loot. That's very annoying. Oh, I didn't get any of them I needed. Okay, well that sucks, but it's fine. We'll try again tomorrow. Oh, which one was it that Tony needed? I don't think I got that one. No, I don't think I did. I think it was the machine one. Yeah, we don't have any recipes. I don't think I can do any of the relics today. Let's see. I did that one. That's one of them that we did, I think, in the last stream. And that one, I think, as well. So I think I need to buy the others before we can do them. Which is fine. We'll leave that until at least tomorrow. We'll see. See if we can do that one tomorrow. Let's go home and reset. And then we'll probably go to Bahari or something. I need flow trees. Which honestly, we could probably go into Kilmer and try and do it. Because what was it? Like a month ago? Maybe more. Can you please say hi to me? I'm a big fan. Hello. When do you go on your holiday, Jack? I didn't even ask that. I completely didn't even ask when you were going. You've been my weakness. Get lost. Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna go to Killamore. I'm gonna go to Killamore and do the trees because I think it might work better. It's not as big as Bahari. I feel like I can see the floor trees better and people call them out a little bit better. There's more chance of people being there actually. Chance of me finding them in Bahari right now is kind of small. I go on Wednesday, an hour and 10 minutes left of work for 2 weeks. Oh. Bliss. Bliss. It's an hour. An hour? You're in my chat? What are you doing? Are you on a break or are you like slyly watching the stream? Oh, we were supposed to be doing hot pot. We were supposed to be doing hot pot. We were supposed to be doing hot pot. I'm gonna go do hot pot for a little while. I think, because we're over here. Like, I missed a couple hours of it, but it's fine. I'm on a break, I promise. See, I just don't know if I believe that. I wouldn't be surprised if you have, like, one of your earbuds in or something right now, listening to the stream. With your phone, like, under the table. Your trust issues central. I mean, can you blame me, though? Can you blame me? Also, like, in terms of Fortnite, right? I was talking about Fortnite earlier. Oh my god. I literally got jump scared so bad. And now I have trust issues again. With certain people. Oh my god, I need to buy it again. I already have it, but I need to buy it. We need that. Yeah, there was a guy hiding behind a tennis court. And scared the hell out of me, so... If I'm a little jumpy, that's why. I don't have an arcade machine yet. Oh no, wait, we got given one. I don't need that. we got given one. Certain people meaning me. I mean... Oh, I don't like this one. Ew. 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 Sorry, guys. I cannot stand the light. Awful. What? What? Are you... Am I being trolled? Are you kidding me right now? They gave a timeout for it? When was that thing? When did that become a thing? Hello? What? What? I just left the table because it was dim and dark and there's no lights near it and I can't see which cards I have. Like, excuse me. No one come over here. I'm joining in a second. No. No. There's 4 people. There's 4 people. Did they start already? Don't tell me they started. Can I join? No! That is so rude. Anyone want to join? How's it? I've never noticed that. Also, Tony, you have like a twin over here. Skylar Silverwing. I honestly thought it was you for a second and then I saw what they were wearing and knew it wasn't you. We should try and find some spring onions instead of... Spring onion? Do we mean green onions? Because, I mean, same thing, right? But, you know, I'm gonna call it green onion. You know. Or whatever. Oh my god. My bad. Took me 25 minutes to cut the grass. Have I been... What? You've been gone 25 minutes? Does not feel that long. It doesn't feel that long. We're nearly an hour into stream. I do this every stream. I always, like, get so distracted. And so, like, I yap for so long that stream goes by so quick. I find it really funny. Like, what do you mean it's been 25 minutes? That's so bad. I'm so bad. Yeah, I don't remember that being there, though. Like, that's the worst feeling ever. I just hate that. I hate that with a passion. Like, what do you mean? I can't leave a table. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, the AI bot thing does it quicker than most people do. I don't see why it's too big of a problem. Right? The game didn't even start yet. I think it should happen if your game has started. Fair enough. But why is it happening to me when the game hasn't even started yet? That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I don't like that. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Get comfortable. You can leave with no time out if you're the only one. Oh, damn it. Well, I was the only one and everyone else joined. We should not be promoting gambling on this family-friendly channel. I never said this is a family-friendly channel. It's just like a... It's like... How do I even describe it? It's basically family-friendly, yeah. It's like... Language is family-friendly, but then like... My music isn't. I don't know what you call that. I would say it's essentially family-friendly over here, but... It's a lot more family-friendly than what my Fortnite channel was. Because Jack can vouch on that. That was not a family-friendly channel. I just, like... My raging on that channel was hilarious. But yeah, that is why we will not be playing games like Fortnite on this channel. No. Not unless, like, somehow I do a really long stream in celebration of, like, something. You know? Like, maybe we'll play. Like, if everyone wants to play, like, we'll play. But if no one's, like, you know, then we won't. Boss family friendly. I'm not family friendly. In IRL, I'm not. Like, my language is actually disgusting sometimes. I just say whatever, like, happens. Like... The F word is just... I'm not saying on stream because I'll read it. Like, you know, like sometimes I read it or whatever. I'm like, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the reason why I'm like that on here though is because I know a lot of people come in my stream before with like, they're like stay-at-home parents and their kids watching the stream. And I'm just like, I don't want to be like having the F word in like every single one of my sentences. It just sounds really like your language is fine. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not this good IRL. Like if you ever met me, I'd probably be the opposite. It's like I think my mum said before, it's really funny how I am on stream compared to IRL, but it's good. It's helping me in real life too, you know? Helping me off stream. I don't think I'm as bad. But honestly, like, oh wow, look at this. If I'm like off stream, if like I'm off stream and I'm raging, my accent comes out and the language comes out. I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. But yeah, the only reason I don't like do that on stream anymore, at least, because I used to, it's just like I've seen people come in the stream and be like, yeah, like I'm like, you know, stay-at-home mom, like I'm looking after like my kids like next to me right now. Like I'm like, oh cool, like I don't want to then deter that person from watching, right? Okay, now I'm raging. Yeah. Good quote from yesterday. Good quote from yesterday. Oh, I did the wrong thing. I was supposed to double fish. Yeah, my music's so quiet you can barely even hear it. So no matter what they're singing about, you can barely hear it. And even if you can, it's more of like not terrible in comparison. Only 4, Jack. Only 4. Not what about the other 4? Why didn't you get those? Oh, so I didn't have it turned on. I'll believe that. I will forever be sour at myself about how I didn't have it ticked to save every time someone picked the mushroom. It's gonna annoy me like crazy. Ads come on in 3 minutes. I apologize. Mushrooms do I have to collect till I'm high? Oh my god. No. No. None of that. Not those kind of mushrooms. This is not Alice in Wonderland, it's the forest. I kind of just imagined them as like the red fantasy mushrooms. Oh, it's gone really dark. Why has it gone like... It feels like it's gone really dark. Don't know what that's about. Don't know what that's about. How is it already 4 o'clock? How is it already 4 o'clock? The Mario mushrooms. Oh, I can't even remember what the Mario mushrooms look like right now. Is that weird? Why have I forgotten what they look like? I'm gonna have to search that. What? It's been a long time since I played a Mario game. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. The, oh my god, Toad. That makes so much sense to me now. I can't believe that. I've always, like, had this thing for, like, foresty things, and you know, like this. It makes sense to me now that I used to pick Toad all the time. In Mario Kart. I always used to be like, hang on, why do I keep picking this guy? Not just because he's cute, but, you know. He's a shroom. I never even put that together. Never even thought about that. But then there's the other mushrooms, too. There's the angry ones and then the red ones. The red ones are the cute ones. In fact, actually, the brown mushrooms look like the Schmoll, but smaller. I didn't even think of that. Wonder if that was where the inspiration came from. Okay, this game's gonna start just before ads start. So I apologize. I'll see you guys after the ads. 30 seconds. Although I didn't even think about snoozing ads. I've never thought of snoozing them until we were about to raid someone. And then I was like, oh no, like ads are gonna begin. Why have I never used the snooze bit before? Never thought of it. 8 seconds. God, I hate ads. played them an hour ago. I'd wait to play them again. They've gone into the abyss. Oh no. See, okay, this is why I don't, like I said at the beginning of the stream, if I put the playlist on shuffle, it would have played about 5 scissor songs by now. We've only had this one. This is the first one. I know you guys probably can't even hear it, but this is the first song that I can hear that was scissor. And it's been an hour. Whereas if I'd have put it on shuffle, it would have played like 5. I don't know who made the shuffle feature at Spotify, but they need firing. What is going on with it? It never used to be a problem. I never had a problem with shuffle before. I don't know why. With bingo? What? Bingo? I love that. We should start doing that more. Oh, I need to do the mushrooms. As soon as I find the mushroom, I have to get the mushroom because I always forget and it's like the hardest one to find. Oh, where's the hardest one? I wonder if I'll even finish my, yeah, I didn't think of that. I don't know if I'll even finish the weeklies. Will I even finish them? Because if I play this every hour, that's going to be like at least 15 minutes, right? I don't know how long it lasts. I have no recollection to any of the timed things in this game anymore. I'm just like going with the flow. Oh. I used to be like, oh yeah, this lasts like 30 minutes. This lasts like... You know what? Yeah, we'll do Hot Pot. And we'll do the prize wheel and some sticky coins and all of that. And then we'll go back to the weeklies. And then we'll repeat at least once, if not twice. Probably twice, right? Yeah, twice. Be productive. But also get plushies in the process because I could get another one today. But if we're lucky. Oh, there's no one here. I saw someone the other day say there was so many people in the black market that they were saying we need more tables on the hot pot. That, like, we need more. There's barely anyone in the market right now. That there is this table with 3 of us on, and there is a table by the door with 4 on, and that is it. Yeah, I think we need more tables. At least on EU we don't. I don't know why. Somehow on, I think maybe NA, you guys maybe need more. I don't know. Like EU, this market's dead. But the reason I'm here is because I got a plushie the last time I came down here. So I'm kind of like, inclined to actually try and get another one. There we go. Okay, so I watched the Wholesome Direct on, was it Saturday, I think? And there wasn't much on there for me to be excited about for the first time ever. And I was kind of like, oh, this sucks. I hope that other people had things on there that they were excited about because I only really found like maybe a very small amount of games that I was like really, really excited about. And I kind of expected a couple of things that didn't happen. I was like, oh, what if we get a, what if we get like an announcement date for Witchbrook or something? That would have been extremely cool. Or Loftia, right? No, we didn't. We didn't get anything like that. I was like, how are we not getting that? That would have been such a cool thing. Like 6 months before the like release, and it would have been really cool. I would have been freaking out, but I did see a couple of games that looked super cute, but I think last year's was so good that this year there was just like not really many games that I would play. I think it's because I have a problem with stuff where I don't really play things. Oh, this first day, okay. Yikes. I'm very particular with the games I play to the point that like if something is a certain art style, it makes me feel kind of sick, so I don't want to play it. Even though it looks so good, it looks so cute. and it looks amazing. Oh, so well done. It bugs me that I can't play it because it gives me like almost like the same feeling as what people get from motion sickness with games. I get that in a different way. It's kind of like an uncanny feeling, I guess. Where like I just don't like how it looks. For some reason it just makes me feel kind of sick. Even if it looks good. It's such like an odd thing that it's hard for me to like get across. But there was a lot of games like that and I was like, no, they all look so cute and I can't play them. Or they were just like games that I already knew about and that wasn't like as exciting because I already knew about it. But yeah, I still watched it. I was going to stream it, but I think I wouldn't have had much of a reaction to anything, so it's probably a good job I didn't. Plus, I didn't really feel up to it anyway in the end. So, low energy, no stream. Like I say, I'd rather have no stream than any stream. But then also, like, I didn't even realize I was going to stream it on Saturday, and then I didn't realize there was a Fortnite event on Saturday, and then a new season was supposed to come out yesterday, but it came out on Saturday. So I would have been like, I would have been running to like Fortnite anyway. It's probably a good job I didn't stream, because I would have been streaming and then instantly ending, like. That would have been funny. God. I keep chipping away at this desk on accident. And it's really bad. Sometimes my, like, the arms on my chair get, like, stuck on the desk because it's slightly higher than the desk. And then it like hits the edge of the desk and part of the desk literally breaks off. And it's like the tiniest little chips. But it's like, this one's sharp and it's like, I think I might scratch myself on this like a good handful of times before I even become aware of it properly. So annoying. So annoying. But I mean, what can you do? What can you do? I mean, that's what happens when you buy an IKEA desk. You done? Thank you. But yeah, I've had this desk now for, honestly, for a good couple of years. Not gonna lie. I thought I'd only had it for a little while, but when I think about it... Oh. We just got a plushie bag. What? What? I'm scared. I'm scared to open it. What if it's a bad one? Is it a bad one? Can plushies be bad? I don't think they can be. I mean... It's not terrible. I'm not as excited by it as I was about the cow. The Ormu. It's still a plushie though. I mean, what can I do? I cannot complain. Okay. There's... Look, let's go back home. Let's admire it because I feel bad now. What if it's a bad one? It's not bad. It's just... There's no such thing as a bad plushie. It's not the one I would have wanted. I don't know what else it would have given me though. Holy crap, I did not realize it was that big. Hello? Oh wait, it's kind of cute. Oh wait, it's kind of cute. It's giving me like Elderwood vibes. Hang on. Oh wait, it's kind of cute. Okay. I can learn to appreciate. Hello. Kind of scary from some angles. But it actually is kind of cute. Okay. I need to stop. I need to stop. Like, that was not... Oh. Good job I call that. There is no such thing as a bad plushie. I need to be grateful for whichever one I get. I just, like... You can't compare the fish to this guy. Like, how cute. How cute. Right? So stinking cute. Like, come on, right? Like, you can't compare it to that. Unfortunately. But then I also got the rug. I think I already have one of these, but what stopped me from using another one? I don't even know where to use it. Honestly, I'll just leave it there so I don't forget about it. But then I also got this one, which could be nice to like, you know, as like a doorway or something. Maybe. Like I say, I still haven't decorated them forever. Oh, let's keep that. Put those in there. I don't need any of these now. These are all tradable. Which is like odd. Oh, we came back home, but I probably should have just gone to Kilima. We're gonna go to like the top corner and do floor trees. I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna try and spawn them. Because otherwise there's just no way for me to get the floor trees. And when I did this before, it spawned like one every so often, so we should be able to get them. Plus we can probably make some good money out of it too, because I know that the what are they? They're like bees. They look like bees, but they're not called bees, I don't think. They are really good money. And I think they give silk too. So it's all around this bit, like the top part. Like, I don't really come past this. Stay over this side, farm every tree I can see, and it spawns floor trees pretty good. So if I just do this until one spawns, I need 4 of them. I could just go to Bahari, but I doubt anyone's even there. Like, honestly, I doubt anyone is in Bahari right now. In comparison to Kilima or Elderwood, most people that are new are going to be in Kilima, and people that are obviously an older player, like, you know, like we're literally in Elderwood the entire time. So it's kind of just like Bahari got abandoned overnight. That's kind of sad. Although I say that, but when I came to Kilima, it was very, like, abandoned for a good week. I came here for one thing, for 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds. And there was not a single person. Not a single person. It was, like, the weirdest thing. Compared to, like, the first day of the game, it was so odd. Like, everyone was in Elderwood. It's like kind of chaotic now when you go there. There's just so many people. Oh, that blinded me. Okay. We've done 200 wood. I don't know how many I did to make them spawn last time. We'll only do it for like 5-10 minutes, and then if like it truly just does not spawn anything, we'll leave it. Because I don't think doing it for any longer than that is going to be worth it. And we can like move on to something else. They do have mining to do as well. I should probably do that while we're here, actually. Oh, I think about it. Probably try and do the mining while I'm here, because I think silver and gold spawn here now. I might be wrong, but I think that's right. I think I'm right about that. I think. We'll see. Oh, I don't need that. What's your F9? Hello? What the? F9. I'm miles away. Oh my god, what is this? Ah! F9. Okay. We have 1 floor tree. I don't know if that was my doing or what, because it's so far away from where I was doing it. I doubt it, but, you know. I'll take partial credit. I'll take partial credit. Who just shot that at me? Did someone just shoot that at me? I don't know who that was. Wait, should I just go around this way? Whereabouts is it? Is it gonna be up here? Or down here? Guess we'll see when we find the person that's at it. I don't see anything. Okay, there's a person here. Oh. Did they already cut it? F9. I'm on F9. I'm not. Is it over this way? Oh. They do it without me? Did they do it without me? I'm pretty sure they did it without me. I came all the way over here for nothing. Okay. That kind of hurts in the feels, not gonna lie. That kind of hurts a little bit. It's okay, never mind. I gotta get over that now. Go back to doing what I was doing. Oh my god. Okay. Oh no, I'm blinded. What is going on with the sun? Oh my god. Okay, but they are spawning. Yeah, I do think they did it without us, and this person is not happy about it. I came over there too. They did it without me as well. Oh, that kind of sucks. They like ran in front of me and everything. Okay. I didn't need the tree or anything. Definitely didn't need the tree. My weeklies or anything. Let me guess, a fir tree? Yeah! Someone called one out and was like, can anyone come help me with it? And I'm like, oh, I need that. So I said I'm on my way. Someone else said they're on their way. And then by the time I got there, someone else cut it down with them. So me and the other person that were on our way couldn't get the tree. So now I have a personal vendetta against them. And so does this person. Like, it's not a big deal or anything. I'm just bitter. That's all. Oh. Wait, what? What? What happened there? Oh. It's raining. I was like, wait, it got really dark again. That's why. It's already started raining again. I mean, it can rain as much as it wants. As long as I'm not in it. And I'll be happy about it. Hello, tree, just for me. Yay. I'm gonna call that one out. Just gonna leave that one and do it for myself. I don't trust anyone now. My trust issues have gotten as far as PALIA. Really bad. But that means we're spawning them in, so we're good. We're spawning them in. Just try and stick to this little area and it helps spawn them in a bit easier, I think. I don't know if that's true, but it seems to work for me. I just stick to like this top area and they seem to spawn like a good couple of them in every so often. Because I need like, what, 3? Yeah, 3. And I could do that. I could do that. I used to get kind of excited when I would get like a tree seed because I really needed them and I had none. Now they're just useless to me. Like, I don't want to keep them because I don't have the storage, right? And I feel like I need to get rid of the actual trees that I have out on my other plot when I want to decorate. They're just gonna go and like, they're going in the bin, right? They're gone. They ain't gonna matter to me anymore. It's like kind of sad. I spent forever trying to grow those trees and now I don't even need them. Although we might use them to decorate, actually. But there's so many of them, I don't think I'll need all of them. And I have extra seeds, I'm just like... Do I need them? Do I need them? Although, I did just realize we should be getting an update. They haven't announced the update though. I just realized that. There is an update this month, I just don't know when. When do updates typically happen? Isn't it like a Tuesday at 6 PM? I think. I think that's when they usually happen. Probably wrong about that though. I know they usually come out at 6 though. Well, I don't think they come out at 6. I think they put the game down at 6, but... It just kind of means I won't be streaming on the day of release for the update, which kind of sucks. Which means I can't really play the game either, because I don't want to stream it when I want to play when I'm not streaming. But it just means I'll enjoy it even more when I actually do stream. So. I think it's... You don't think it's kind of funny actually how I can test if it's raining just by looking at my camera on the OBS. It goes gloomy, like very gloomy when it's raining. Wait. I broke the game. I broke the game. Everything is broken. Okay, that's kind of funny. I did not do anything. I swear I did nothing. Why is everything just disappeared? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wasn't my fault. Wasn't my fault. All I'm doing is chopping trees. I did not touch a fence or a lamppost or anything. Okay, I'm gonna check down here just in case there's one spawning back in again. Because that was where it was. Oh, okay. Never mind. I do it for like maybe a couple more stacks and then we'll leave it because I don't want to do this for the whole stream. If I might come back to it at the end once we've done the rest of the weeklies, but I don't want to do this the whole stream. I don't think you guys would enjoy me chopping trees for hours, right? I feel like that would be a little boring to watch. But a girl can try. A girl can try and spawn in a magical tree when she needs one. Usually it would happen a lot quicker than this. But you know, maybe it's because people are chopping them down. Maybe it's because people are chopping them down and not even telling me about them. And I might have done that myself once too. But I spawned it in. Can I get on my own? I have trust issues now. I don't trust them to wait for me to do it. So I have to do it myself. I'm sorry. I know the etiquette. But I can't trust anyone. I can't trust anyone. They're gonna do me wrong. I'll turn my back for 2 seconds and it'll put it down already. I think I'll leave it like that though. I will come back to it if we need to. I have 2 more to do. Right? 2 more. Forageables. Okay. I mean, like, I could chop them while looking for forageables. But honestly, I think maybe we should pay a little bit of a visit to Bahari. Because obviously I've not been there in like 3 weeks now. 3 weeks? That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. There is just no way. Let's go to Bahari. And then when my bag's full, we'll just go back home. I don't want to go back home too soon. There's no point. Plus, I don't have the storage anyway. I should be selling stuff and I've not. I've not been. I've been forgetting. I actually need to drink too. I keep forgetting to do that. Don't be like me. Drink your water. Okay. Let's go to the beach. Because that is going to be where all the forageables are. That is the one place to go to. Hopefully, I'm kind of a little bit... I'll have to see after the stream if I can even upload this VOD or not. Because I'm hoping... I say hoping because I'm a little bit nervous about it. But I'm hoping that my stream isn't gonna make the music audio go through into the VOD. That would be very annoying if it did. Because then I'd have to delete the VOD. And then this stream never happened. Stream never happened. I didn't stream. I didn't stream on this day ever. Completely did not do that. And that would suck. So we need to check. Either way, if I check, it'll mean that the next stream should be fine. But I basically had like a thing come up on my like... So I had like the it's called Voice Meter, the program that I'm talking about. It basically like kept coming up with something that was like, this thing's missing. And I was like, what is that thing? I don't know what that thing is. And it was very confusing and I was a little bit concerned, and everyone said on Reddit to just uninstall it, re-download it, restart your PC and everything. And I did, and I reset it back up, but I didn't save my old settings, so I don't know if I did it right. Kinda hoping I did do it right, because it would be a little bit complicated if I did do it right. But it's not too difficult to do, it's just remembering how I did it the last time I did it. Because I've had to re-download the program like twice now, but that's over a course of like 5 years. It's not too bad. And like, my music might not be too loud, but the VOD will pick it up as like copyrighted audio. Which we don't want, because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I miss a stream, someone's stream, and I go to their stream, I go to their channel even, straight after their stream to like watch it back. And I can't watch it because of the copyrighted audio, and it's the most annoying thing ever. So, I want to make sure that we can still post this on YouTube. I should have done a little tester, but... hey, it's fine. Let's just call this a tester stream. Oh, gold? Wait, gold? Wait, where does gold spawn then now? So does gold spawn in Bahari now? Wait, that's very confusing. We gotta figure that out before we actually do that weekly. Odd. Very odd. I feel like that doesn't make any sense. That kind of messes with my head a little bit, not gonna lie. Don't know how I feel about that. But like, we gotta come here for that anyway. So I might just do this and then double check that before we go anywhere and see if I can get that done while I'm here. Is it easier to find though? Because I haven't even looked at a single node since I've been here, like... Because this is the first time I've been back in Bahari in a while. So we'll have to see if I can find it. I'll check as I'm walking around, but I don't think I've seen any, so... We shall have to see. Okay, we need to remember. Is it 6 PM when the market opens? Because I think after I got that plush right there, I think that is my sign that I need to be going to the market. I need to be buying Zeki coins. I need to be playing Hot Pot. I need to do everything. Right? Honestly, even when the other market comes back, the Marchi market, I need to be doing that too. I need to alternate or something. We could do like one thing per hour. We done. We're done. Okay. Just the flow tree. Okay. So the gold rush, we only need 2. Does gold or silver? I think silver classes as well. I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh, it is in Bahari now. What? Oh, that's weird. Okay, that's really odd. I don't know how I feel about that. But let's go and do that, I guess. I guess we're mining in Bahari for gold. Is it like gold miners in Bahari, silvers in Kilimar? That's just so confusing. But like, are they easier to find now? That's so confusing. I don't like that. For some reason that makes me feel very uneasy. I don't know why. I just don't like that. Who came up with that idea? It doesn't even make any sense. It should make sense. What do you think? Is it supposed to be, but it's not? I swear it said it was supposed to be easy to find, but it's like different in location. But I'm going to assume that even if that is what I read, that is not true. But if I wanted to, I could try and find a loot pile, the rummage pile, and do it there. But like, I don't know. We'll see how difficult it is. I give it like 5-10 minutes and see how difficult it is, but right now, I'm not seeing any. If it was that easy to find, we'd have probably seen it already. So far, all I can see, because there's no Pallium now, is Bahari just full of rocks. Oh, iron. I forgot about iron. So is it just full of iron? And like 1 gold every hour? May waste another gold compass to see if it picks up gold on a self-large stone. Oh, hey friend. Which one? Oh, I just realized I have my old hair color as well, though, like this. But, when did they update that? Did they do... wasn't that a glitch? Or did they just make it a thing? I think someone said, actually, they made that a thing because... it was, like, a problem... No, they did it because of the new update with the new stone. The white slab stone, whatever it's called. I think it's called that. Ooh. My mom just messaged me and said, do I need anything? I don't want to forget. Do I need anything? Is there anything I could do with? Food-wise. I don't think I've said anything. No? Like, I know you're streaming, but I'm at the supermarket. Do you need anything? Cute. I think it's bugged. There's no way stone can be called a rare item. That's the thing. Even the white slab one, it's not difficult to find. So I don't know why they did that. Honestly, like, I think I'm fine for food. But I'm panicking now that she's gonna come home and I'm gonna be like, wait, I need this. But I can't think of anything I need right now. Off the top of my head, like, I'm like, is there anything? Oh well. We'll survive. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's bugged. Ugh. Well, if that's bugged, I'm pretty sure that the, like, gold itself is bugged, because if this is supposed to be easy to find, it's a joke, right? Oh, that doesn't look right. For some reason, it doesn't look right. Let me just send my mum a picture. I found one though. We only need one more now. Yeah. So thoughtful. Are you sure you don't want me to look for this thing that you couldn't get last week? Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Honestly, I would not have thought of that. That's the one thing I actually did need. I needed more Goyozas because, I feel bad now. I feel bad I didn't flare it. I don't even have any flares, to be honest. But yeah, I couldn't get any of them last week, and I was just so annoyed. I stood by the freezer aisle and it was just like... I eat this every day. What do you mean I can't find it? There's always one food I eat that is just like barely existent. It's barely existent. Like I'll eat it and eat it for like 5 months and all of a sudden I can't get it for 2 months. Like what are you playing at? All I want is my dumplings, right? So good. I could probably eat the full bag, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I have to like control myself with those. I don't know why they're so good. And I eat the vegetable ones too. I don't even get any with like meat or anything. And they have like some really good flavors, but I don't like them. I'm like, I think I am very like plain with food and I just don't know why. Like I tried they're like beef, I think, and they weren't good. They weren't good. I didn't like them. I didn't like them. I like things that are more vegetable-wise, and I don't know why, because I don't even like that many vegetables. But if it's Asian food with vegetables, for some reason, you guys just make it. No matter what it is. It can be, like, a curry, it can be, like, noodles, it can be dumplings, and I'll eat them. Even if they have veg in them that I don't like. You guys just make it perfect. I don't know what it is. I find it kind of funny, though. Because if it's anything other than that, I'm not eating it. So I don't know what kind of, like, magic it is. But I think if I'd have been told these foods existed as a kid, I might have eaten them. Whereas, like, it's taken me until my 20s to eat these foods. And I wish I'd have had them sooner. I wish I'd have had them sooner. Hell, I didn't even try a pot noodle. Never mind, like, actual, like, proper noodles. I didn't even try a pot noodle till I was, like, 18. Only 7 years ago. Only 7 years ago, I finally tried, like instant noodles. That's ridiculous. And now I crave, like, actual noodles all the time. I always think these are willow trees. Okay, what do we need one more? We need one more. We don't need any more. Okay. Uh-oh. Is she gonna tell me they don't have any? I'm scared. She's messaging me back. She's gonna be like, they don't have any. Is there anything else you want? No! Oh my god. I still don't know if I'm saying that right. I think now we can go and do... No, those are not them. Nope. Those are not them. I don't want those. Oh my god. Why do they have them? I feel like I've done something bad. Like, all of a sudden, like... If they have them, it'd be like... I know exactly where they are in the shop. This is really funny. Yeah, like they have these, what are they called? Bao buns? Bao buns? Bao buns? And they would be an okay substitute if they made them in, like, a pack that you could just have one at once. But they don't. So, like, the dumplings can be made separately, but the buns, you have to make them all at once in the bag. And I don't want 6 of them, right? Or 8 of them, whatever it is. I just want like a couple. So I don't know why they're not there though. What's going on? Like I remember I had a problem with wait, let's go back home. Let's go back home and then we'll do the hunting one. They had a problem with edamame beans once. I just started eating them and it was like a month or 2 of eating them and all of a sudden there was none. Everywhere I went they were sold out. And it wasn't like for any reason. There wasn't like any reason why they wouldn't be in the freezer, but there was just none. There was none. It's happening all over again. Happening all over again. Okay, we need to sell stuff. We need to sell stuff. Let's open these. Oh! Oh! I got 2 green. What? I got 2 green. That's so good. That's so good. Okay. Wait, do I have... I do have Prizeville coins. Hello, Tellboy. Hope you're well. I am well. I hope your day is going good. Hydration. Raz. Hello. I have been saying I need to drink more on stream. My voice goes every stream. Hello. I hope your day is going well too. We're just about to sell some stuff because I don't have much storage left again. I keep forgetting. So, bugs. I definitely. Oh, I don't need that many. Holy. Keep 2. Just 2. I think. I'm gonna regret that. But oh well. Oh well. I don't want them. Be gone. I don't need them. For now. I might need them. I might need them for the things, but I just don't even care. I'm just like, no. No thanks. You can go. Okay. Oh, no. My game and my stream are bugging out right now. We don't need to sell... Oh, we can sell that. I don't need all those. Stink bug. There's 17 in stock. Stink bug? What? Stink bug. Where's that? Next to the... Oh, those ones? I think I have them for a certain reason. I don't remember what the reason is. I think it's to do with like crafting something. I don't know why, but I keep them for now. It's like these. I don't know what I have them for, but it's fine. I have like other stuff that I think I should get rid of. For now. Maybe. Maybe? I'm gonna go through all of this at some point, because I have so much stuff in here I do not need. But it's like a habit. It's like a habit, and I know that I can make money if I turn them into something else, but I don't even need the money. I don't need those. Uncommon books I use for Bliss Jazz. There you go. That's why I have them. That is why I have them. Okay. We cannot really get rid of anything else. Maybe this, actually. Keep 1. Keep 1. Get rid of some of those. Keep 5. Oh. I don't know why I have them then. I'll just keep them. Because I'm like nervous that I'm gonna end up needing them now. I don't know what the reason is. I have no idea, but something's telling me I should probably do that. I should probably keep them in case. I don't know what the reason is, but there's something. Let's get rid of these though. Wait. Okay, it wouldn't let me do anything for a second. Wait, we're not gonna be able to do this here. Let's go to Zeki's in a second. We'll go to Zeki's instead. Let's water my plants. Be responsible. Be responsible. Also, I feel like they've updated something with this watering can. It feels like it waters more. If that makes any sense. It never used to water both of my apple trees at once, and I don't know if I just didn't realize it was doing that. But for some reason, it confuses me because I'm like, I'm not even in the middle of them both, and it's watering the one next to it. I could have sworn it didn't used to do that. I could have sworn it didn't used to do that. So that was very confusing. Was there anything else I needed to do? Let's just do this while I'm here, otherwise I'm gonna forget. I'm gonna forget. Also, do I need that? No. No, I do not. No, I do not. Okay. Yeah. Oh, what time is it? I keep forgetting to do... Oh, I keep forgetting to do, hot pot every time. Keep forgetting. I don't know how I forget, though. How do I forget this every time? What time is it? It was like 7 PM, right? Which isn't too bad. I didn't go last time until like 9. I did get a plushie from it. Okay, we're fine. We'll go sell these and play that. If it's Pallium take what? 3 times 3. 3 times 3? Oh yeah, 3 times 3. But that's the thing, like, right now it seems to be watering one apple tree and then they've one next to it, even though I'm not in the middle of it. Right? Which is like odd. Like I'm nowhere near it, and yet it's, I don't know. Maybe I'm just confused. But it does seem to be doing more. I try and move away from the mic every time, but it, apologies, it probably catches my cough every time. Oh my god. My fringe is growing honestly quite quickly, but it's still on my face and irritating me every day. I hate how we can't select and sell. Can that be an update we get, please? Just like a quality of life update. Let me select everything I want to sell in my inventory so I can do it all at once. Because this is just ridiculous. Like, why does this take so long? Like, at least let me select and then press, like, enter to sell or something. Right. Wait, we made, like, 20k? What? What? That's kind of insane. I didn't even mean to make any money there. Cute. The toggle option to sell or row would be good. Exactly. Ooh. Exactly. I think that would be really good. Right now we have nothing. Trying to redo my maze or do my head in? Oh god. Oh god. I wish you luck. I'm praying for you. No, we got really bad stuff that I don't need. Damn it. I don't need that. And I don't need that. Thank you. Okay. We're gonna do hot pot if I can find a table. I'll just go here. I need help. What do you need help with? Is there anything I can try and help with? There are some other people that maybe can help right now. Might not be the best. I'll try my best though. Oh, for cooking, it says I need a cooking station required. There are a certain amount of cooking stations you need to cook certain recipes. So like, oh my god, I'm really bad at this. I don't know if it tells you on the Wikipedia. I think it might. Oh, There you go. 2 of each. I was going to say go to the Wikipedia and it should say it on the cooking guild thing, but there you go. 2 of each. 2 of each. Thank you, guys. You guys always come in clutch. I'm really bad. I'm a really bad streamer. I don't know anything. Yeah, just 1 more then you'll be fine. I don't have like a section of my plot to cook on. I'm not decorated or anything. I just have like a section behind the house just plopped. Like every single thing I need to cook so I don't forget. And that's it. 2 stoves, 2 ovens to prep the mix. Yeah. It's kind of a bit complicated because they don't tell you any point, do they? Like, oh, no one's joining me. Like, why am I all alone? There's no one. There isn't any table. I want to play. There's no table. I'm just like, I'm on my own. I want to join so bad. That's just rude. Yeah, that's rude. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Maybe I'm just gonna go by. Oh, no, we can play. Yeah. It does specifically mention anywhere that you'll need more than 1. See, that's why it's so confusing though. Like, why is that a thing? Tell me everything, please. I need to know. Because I'm just gonna Google it anyway. Like, I will just end up having to search it. Like, I am really bad at figuring these things out. It'll just show on the recipe when you try to cook. But that's just annoying though, isn't it? Like, why is that a thing? Right? Like, why can't you just tell me when I'm doing the quest for it? Like, you do quests for the skills and stuff to, like, help you figure it all out, but they just don't tell you that you need, like, a certain amount of cooking stations. Especially for stupid people like me. I am just as bad. Don't you worry about it. I ask these guys everything. They're always the ones that know what they're doing. I have no idea what I'm doing most of the time. Pretty much most of the time. Only when you try to cook certain foods, you should get a warning that you need more stations. This is PALIA. Tony, I feel like you have a very love-hate relationship with this game. I feel like you love to play the game, but there's so many problems. Honestly, though, that's me with other games too. I don't feel it as much with PALIA, but there's definitely other games out there that I'm like, why is this not a thing? Oh, I'm first. Took 6 months for them to sort my bloody plot out. Oh. It took them like 3 months for them to sort my bag out. Like 3 months into the demo. It took from about the release of, not the demo, the release of the game for like public release till about Switch release for them to sort the problem with my bag. Where I had 1 row of my bag, or like 2, whatever it is, whatever you start out with. So I understand the pain. I do. But I think I've forgiven them for that now. It was just very annoying that it had to happen to me. Like, and I was trying to just stream that too. I was trying to stream it. I'm like, I cannot for the life of me stream when all I have is 1 row of a bag. I couldn't remove items, but couldn't add anything. Not even change wallpaper. Was that just for the 1 plot, or was it no matter what plot you were on? Because that sounds awful. With a game that's very heavy on, like, decorating too. Although I had a problem around, I think, Halloween last year. While I was streaming, that I couldn't get something out of one of the wheelbarrows, and it was annoying me like crazy because it didn't look right. It wasn't how I wanted it to look, and I couldn't change it, right? So I was upset, right? I moved everything from one slot to another slot and had the same book. Oh, yeah, that's you had the right to be annoyed. You had the right to be annoyed. That sounds awful. Oh, someone stole their spot at the table. That's why I didn't do that earlier. I felt bad. I wouldn't do that. Oh, I just realized, is that skin that that person's wearing? I feel like that's one of the ones that are on sale right now. It's actually kind of cute. Why is it letting me click on it but not doing anything? Was it the leaf pile that's stuck in the wheelbarrow? Do you remember that? You remember it? It was extremely annoying because I was trying to decorate a little plot really quick. It was just like a little decorating situation. It wasn't like fully done or anything. I was annoyed because I didn't quite like how it looked and I wanted to take it out and I couldn't take it out. And we tried everything. I think we spent like an hour and we couldn't do it. And then I finally did it when I wasn't even streaming. But it annoyed me like crazy. I had rid over 2,000 items and still wouldn't let me put anything down. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I duplicated it to figure out how to remove it. Was it you that did that? I was just thinking like, wait, didn't someone like properly try and help me with that for the whole hour and someone figured it out? I couldn't remember who it was, so like, thanks for that all those months later. Hello. You're home. I'm gonna assume. I'm gonna assume I have a little haul to come to after stream. Yeah, okay. I'll come and talk to you when I'm done. I always look forward to a little haul now. Whenever you've been out and I've not been with you, like, I was like, oh, what's she got? Ads are about to play in 3 minutes. My apologies. I think we might end the stream on the next lot of hot pot. So I'll go and do like the rest of the dailies and then we will end on hot pot. The next hot pot, not this one. Because I feel like 3 sessions of hot pot. We've watered my plants like 3 times. I've been very productive. Oh! No! No! I didn't mean to do that! Don't you dare take it. Don't you dare take it. Don't take it. Leave it. I can't take it back. I can't take it back, can I? I just realized. That's... Damn it! I didn't do it right. I always end up doing that. Every time. Like, I see it in front of me. I know exactly what it is. I know exactly what I need. And I just... So frustrating. Which one of these? This one. Okay, we got that one. All we need is corn and a mushroom. That's not corn or a mushroom. Apparently Hope wins, so... We'll see. Let's see if they do. I've not got luck on my side. Oh no. Who won? Did they actually win? That's so funny. There's just no way. Like, that's your name? I can't even say it now, but Hope wins and that's your name and you just win every game. Are we cheating? Are we cheating? I don't know about that. That's very annoying. I've just realized I don't think ads start the second they say they're going to start. I think they start like a couple seconds after. Like, that says 20 seconds, but it doesn't pop up saying ads are running until like a couple seconds after that's disappeared, so... I don't know when they're going to start. It says 10 seconds, but... Also, like, if anyone's subbed and can tell me if they're getting ads, because my mum thinks she's getting ads. And I'm a little bit concerned that she is getting them, even though she's subbed. So I don't know what that's about. I would hope she's not. But ads should be playing any second now, so if you are subbed and you're getting ads, please tell me. I don't get ads? Okay, if you don't get ads and she gets ads, I'm very confused. And that's like on mobile and TV, so I'm not sure if she did get ads then, but we'll see. I'm not, but I'm subbed and I have turbo. She's definitely subbed. I'm pretty sure. Someone gifted her a sub. I don't know who it was. I kind of forgot. It may have even been you, Talboy. I'm not too sure. May have been. It was? Okay, there you go. It's Flow by you. She's right above you. She's definitely subbed. Yeah. She has a little badge by her name, but I'm not sure why that happened. It might have just been a little glitch or something, but I'm not too sure. Not too sure. Twitch be twitching. We've said that at least twice today. We've said that at least twice. We were having problems at the beginning of the stream where, like, no one's messages were coming through to me, and I couldn't see anything I was sending through either, but everyone else could. So, don't know what that was about. Don't know why that happened. I think it's fixed now. But it sucked because it happened when I was getting raided, and I was like, Twitch not working correctly when I just got raided is like very rude. They always give me the worst cards every time. These are like the worst ones. I feel like if you have like the vegetables, they're like the easiest ones to get. Not the spices, but the vegetables. Like, now I gotta like... See? I'm just getting vegetables. Look at all these corns. Oh. Tony. No way, that just happened. Did you teach him multiplayer? Yeah, I haven't. She's gonna say something in the chat now, like I'm a really bad daughter or something. I had like a busier week, but hopefully maybe at some point this week. Maybe we can get started on it. Hopefully, as long as my Switch is okay, because I've seen people's Switches going like orange, like their screen going orange, and I'm a bit worried that mine's gonna do the same thing, like the screen. She's not tired for me. No, I knew you were gonna say something like that. I had loads of stuff, like little things to do, and then I started reading, and I got addicted to that, and then Fortnite came out with a new update, and I'm addicted to that, and like, hit the E's to the W. My god. I do that all the time. But yeah, I will very soon, because I think it's going to be really funny to watch. Getting to like experience the game for the first time and like stuff would be really nice. Teach them. I will, I promise. I will. I'll get around to it. I wanted to do it last week, but then stuff happened. So, you know, don't kill me. Honestly, I think if we hadn't gone out on Saturday, I would have probably spent the morning doing that instead. But I think you would have rather us go out on Sunday instead, right? I'll be happy to help her in game if you don't want to. I'm gonna teach her how to use a Switch yet. I don't even know what the last like console she would have played on. Probably like not the Switch. Why am I saying Switch? The Wii? Maybe. Maybe. That's like a long time ago as well. I'm going through the basics. I'm like, I'll like tell you how to turn it on and off. I'm not even kidding, because when I first got a Switch, I had no idea how to turn it off. I kept putting it into standby, because if you don't hold down a button and then click the shutdown button, like, it just puts it into standby. I would not even know where to start exactly. So we're going to start from the basics, which is perfectly fine. I don't know everything about the Switch, so we can kind of learn together. We can kind of learn a little bit together. The last console I played on was my... I said, oh my god. Oh, I thought you were going to say like a long time ago. I was like, what? A couple months ago, the last time I played on a console was my Switch, because it's the only one I have now. So I sold my Xbox like last year, but that was probably like... It was out of like desperation, if that makes sense, because I didn't have my PC for a week, I think it was, or like a weekend or something ridiculous. So like... I was like forced to try and play on something because I had no idea what else to do with my life. Because I must be addicted to gaming. It must be a problem because I didn't have my PC for like a couple of days and I went crazy. So I tried to play the Switch and it was terrible. I hated it. Which is why it's pretty much, if my mum can use it and she wants it, I'm just giving it to her. Like, I'm using it as decoration. It is decoration. So, have I got any consoles? That's the only thing I have. Other than that, I just on my PC. I guess you count my TV as a console because it is a smart TV and I can play on it with a controller. And it probably costs about the same, right? Like smart TVs and consoles, pretty much the same thing. I'd probably rather have a smart TV than the console at this point. I don't really see the point in the console. Like, if you're a controller player, I guess, like, yeah. I struggle to use controller. Like, there's only very, very minimal amount of times I will use a controller because I want to. I grew up with controller. I never used, the only reason I ever used PC for gaming was like very early 2000s stuff. And it was like online games, right? They were just like, you didn't really have to click anything. You barely had to do anything. So like I knew what I was doing, whereas now I'm just like, controller sucks. I really don't like it. Not a fan. I'm console gang, really. I'm just not a fan of it. Oh, we did it again. I'm not a fan of it. I feel like the concept of console is really good. But using a controller is just... It's no go. I can't do it. It's terrible now. Microsoft announced their first handheld Xbox, but it's just a ROG Ally running Windows. But wait, that actually doesn't sound terrible though. Like, it's literally using the Windows system. I don't know if that's bad. You always look so suspicious when you go in the room. Oh, your phone. I'm echoing through the phone. I can hear myself talk. Ew. 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 Gross. Yeah, don't look at yourself. Don't be vain. You gotta speak a bit louder, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh, it's 4. Oh, we ran over with that one. We have 8. Oh, they let me go first. Nice. Yeah. Wait. You just pushed him. We line up in this game. We line up. There's no queue over this way. I'll go over this one. We queue up behind the prize wheel. People don't know that. Why do I look like a sprout? What in game? Well, I'm a frog. A frog hat. It ribbits when I jump. Yeah, it makes like the ribbit sound when I jump. You can't hear it, but it like. No, you can't hear it right now because you haven't got the sound, but it makes like a rip. Okay, what did I get? Did I even get? I didn't get anything good. Damn it! We got nothing out of that, and I have to go back up here to actually sell anything. Maybe we'll get a plushie at the end of the stream. Maybe. I mean, to be fair, we've already got one today and we got one last stream, so I can't be too annoyed with that. Controller's just too comfy for me. I just hate it. So you won't have a problem with controller because you've only ever used controller. You'd probably be like way more confused as what to do with a keyboard. And like moving the camera with the mouse and then moving your character with the keys would be confusing as hell because it was for me when I first started. But now controller's just like foreign. I can't do it. It's almost like I'm not even holding it in my hand. And that sounds ridiculous, but... Yes, but... I'm pretty sure there's a setting for that, right? Like I can turn camera shake off. And I'm pretty sure there's like a setting or something. There was something I had turned on when the game first came out. Or like when I was playing in alpha or something. It was like something that helped it not look as like motion sick. I don't know. So when I'm claiming a prize wheel, I just keep rapidly smashing it until I run out. See, I usually do that, but I'm not gonna lie. I kind of just like think people would listen and just like, you know, queue up behind me. But I'll forgive them. They look like they might be new. I just assume that if someone doesn't have like paid clothes, they're usually new. Not necessarily, but you know. I'll forgive them. It's okay. Someone chopped down a tree earlier without me, and now someone pushed in front of me in a line. It's okay. You got pushed into too? Oh my god. I feel like bashing my head against the wall with this maze. I've completely forgotten my... Oh my god. Why would you even do that to yourself though? I literally cannot decorate in this game in general. Never mind like building a maze. This is the extent of my decorating. It's literally nothing. This is... Oh, you're
struggling. I'm no chance.
Yeah, you're making it worried now. I haven't bought clothes in this game. See, that's what I mean though. There's a lot of people that are more new that are like trying to make sure they actually enjoy the game before they buy anything. Doesn't necessarily mean you're new. But a lot of people that haven't, like, are definitely new. So I'm like, I'll forgive you. But like with me, you just get away with it even if you're not new. And you just don't have the clothes yet. You have to pop over and see the progress of it. Oh god. How much have you done? Like, why are you redoing it? Why would you put yourself through that? Oh, I just did an achievement. Pickled pumpkins. Oh my god, we've actually finally nearly harvested the entirety of them. It took us like, what, 3 weeks to do that? It took me a week to plant them and then 3 weeks to actually get rid of them. Oh my god. Okay. I'll put these back in. I'm just gonna put all the apples in the jam because honestly, like, I don't need them. I'm not selling them yet, but I'm doing it so that I have them when I need them. Like, I have that much of... How much is this even going to make me right now? Like 3,500 each. So they give you an outfit when you start playing. It's a mystery outfit, so you could end up with a hot dog outfit or like... Or a fairy costume. You could end up with anything. It might, you don't know what it'll be till you get it. To be fair though, like, when anyone's gifted me anything, like, it has actually been, like, good. It's not been, like, a hot dog. Which, to be honest, I don't think I'd mind a hot dog. I would wear it. I'd probably wear it proudly knowing me as well. Huh? Hot dog. I'd pull off a hot dog costume. Nice to know. Yeah, but I have like 5 frog outfits in this game. Like, I'll go show you. I've got so much to tell you though when it comes to Anna. Like, look. You can't really see him there. But like, it's a frog with like lily pads. But then I also have this, which is a frog outfit. With frog socks, frog, like, this is like a lily pad jacket with like frog. Kind of frog. They're kind of like frog headphone type things. And then this one with the frog things on it. But I'm just wearing that one right now. Just everything's frog themed. Obviously. What were we doing? We had like more weeklies to do. See, I didn't think I'd finish these on time. But we can probably do more tomorrow. We could do, in fact, I'll probably leave fishing till tomorrow. Fishing and like the rest of the floor trees. And I'll just leave them until tomorrow as well, just because. And that. Okay. 30 creatures, 5 magical. Okay, I guess we're going to Bahari. Oh wait, we're fashionable. I don't think there's much point. Actually, we'll go this way because there's probably more chance of me finding the... What are they even called? I don't know what the magical ones are called. I completely forgot what they're called. The show nooks anyway. I can go to them. They're probably more likely to spawn up top. Have you picked your daily shroom today? See that little potion bottle? You click on that and then it says to pick it. It doesn't do anything. It's just a... What do you call it? Is it what is it? Oh well, you get this from like... You click on it. Gives you points. And then you click on it again. And there's all these that you can do. You can tell me to drink water. Well, you can only do the water one only works so many times a stream because I don't want people to drown me in it. You know. I don't trust people to not spam it. I had to put a limit on it. But yeah, you click the mushroom one. It's like the first one and it's like doesn't really cost anything. It costs like 1, I think it does. But every time you like if you watch the stream or like I think if you subscribe you get more points, but it's just from watching the stream. Or if I do like a prediction. Yeah. And then it pops up on stream. See? You picked 1 shroom. Well, you picked more, but I didn't have the setting turned on to keep it counting. So like I picked it a couple times for you, but yeah, now it'll count every time you pick it. Nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It literally means nothing. It's just like what do they call it? A commodity or something? I don't know about this. What's the word? It's just cool. It's just, you just got mushrooms. Just mushrooms. There's no explanation. There's just mushrooms. So from the reputation thing of there will be no explanation, just reputation, but there will be no explanation. It's just mushrooms. I don't care. I thought it was cute. I am citing Taylor Swift. Oh. Oh. Oh, okay. And I've got to teach you how to play this game. It's gonna be funny. If I had the ability to edit YouTube videos properly and it not wear me out, I would probably edit a video of it. Like a series. You might catch on. You were playing video games before I was born. Yeah, you were playing on an original Game Boy. I didn't even have an original Game Boy. I had a Game Boy Advance. You had the original. Still, I think if I said Game Boy Advance, some kids would go, what's that? I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that. Which makes me feel old. Yeah, that's not what that was, Mum. They were board games. Board games and stuff. Oh, you went about like an actual place. Do you mean... So like an arcade then? Oh. You just need to teach Mom to use a Switch and she'll pick up the game and she's good. That's the thing I was thinking that. Like, you might ask me a couple of questions for it and I'll give you like the general sense of the game, but I don't think I'll have to tell you everything. Because I didn't know, because when it comes to games, like, you genuinely have to pick it up. Like, just as an example, like, with Fortnite, this is a bit easier for me to explain. Every time I say there's an update, like a big update, or like a new season, everything changes, and I have to figure it out. And it's like, I've barely even played it before. So, if I just gave you the Switch and told you to play it, you would have no idea what you were doing, but to give you the general, like, idea of a game in general... Just tell you like, yeah, I mean, I'll give you free range. I'll just sit there and watch you play it for a bit and see how you get on. And if you need me, I'm just there. I don't mind that. But we'll teach you how to do everything else on the Switch first. Come to me and tell me that you broke it and it won't turn on, but it just needs charging. That's going to be... I literally could not turn mine off. Like, yeah, you did. I haven't even got mine yet. You're gonna be a rocker. You're turning into me. Wait, how many of these do I need? Wait, how? Wait. How many have I already done? Oh, 12? I've got that much already? I must have gotten double loot from some of them. Oh, wait, yeah, you get them from the elder ones, right? Wait, these ones? What? They're cute when I'm killing them, yeah, made me feel bad. Made me feel bad, why don't you? Why do you think I struggle with killing these guys? Oh, I don't want to say the word killing. Hunting. Because he's like right in front of us. Oh, don't say that. You'll make me feel even more sad. Oh my god. You're gonna have a hard time, aren't you? You'll be like, oh, I can't hunt them because they're too cute. To be honest though, people do that. I've told you that. Loads of people like refuse to hunt. You got a stick of hack. Oh, I already had that one, but it's okay. It's only a game. It's only a game, but a lot of people don't like to hunt in games because, like, if they're like vegan and stuff, it like goes against the morals, really. No, don't do that, Tony. Everyone's making me feel bad right now. Oh my god. Wait, I need to test the sniping thing and like sit further away and see if it works, because everyone else is saying it doesn't work anymore, which is annoying me. Just think of it as either recycling the animals or repurposing it. You guys are awful. It's only pixels. Yeah, this guy's only fluff, right? But if he was in front of you in real life, you wouldn't do it, right? I couldn't do it. It's not, to me, that it doesn't look like pixels when it's a game like this. When it's like a pixel game, yeah, it's a little bit easier. But this just makes it difficult. Now I feel bad. I feel like I'm gonna time you out right now. This is starting to not look very cozy. Oh my god. Anyway, you've got to hit the shots, so otherwise you don't get it anyway. And it took me about a year of playing the game to even be able to hit my shots. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I'll probably be picking up Fortnite next, then you'll be like winning against me. I can explain the concept of games to you though. This is what I mean when I... Well, it is the last one to survive. That's the whole thing of it. Yeah. Battle Royale, there's a film on it called Battle Royale. That's so funny because they've literally had stuff in the game to do with that. I'll explain concept of all the game. All types. We'll go through everything. I'm gonna make a gamer. She made a gamer and now I'm making her a gamer. I think it was okay. I don't think they're here right now. I don't think they are. They might be lurking. Might be lurking. Yeah, that's the gifted thing. That's not like... They're not here right now, I don't think. What time is it? Oh. Okay. We need... 8 more of those. 5. We haven't found a single... I cannot for the life of me remember what they're called. I'm just gonna call them magical because they keep calling them magical. For some reason I can't remember what they're actually called. We haven't found one yet.
Wait. Hi guys.
I don't even know if they heard that. Bye. I don't know, you've got to really speak into it, otherwise it cuts you out.
Hi guys, need food.
I think they're called Bob. Bob? Oh, yep. Food over PALIA. Sounds about right. But food and PALIA, now that's a different story. Yep. Bye. Yeah, food and PALIA, that's even better. Soup and PALIA. Oh. Wait, I feel like I remember someone... I don't know if it was in PALIA or not. It might have been during the alpha. There was someone that had an obsession with soup. I don't know if it was PALIA or not. But there was someone in like the Discord that had this like obsession with soup. And now I finally understand the obsession because at that point in time, I did not care about soup. And now I love soup. Now I understand the obsession. I get it. Are they laughing? I just heard them laugh. Oh, we're going for it. You have the little ferret guy. Oh, he's so cute. I feel like I need to get him. If he goes on sale, I'm getting it. I need it. I need it. Have I got this much, like resources, but not actually done 30 of them already? That's so weird. Oh, I also forgot that these spawn. I forget that they're spawning Bahari too. Oh, we left something. We left something. Okay, we need to remember at 6 PM. Like, game time, not IRL time. To go and do hot pot. Before we end stream. Also, I think I need to go back through the Wholesome Direct list of games, just in case I missed some. Like I say, I wasn't as excited about the games that they showed, but I think there might be one or two that I might not have wishlisted. Maybe I should go do that. Do that after stream. Yeah, I think we'll get everything just about done in time. But if we don't get anything done, I'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, I moved my headset and now my glasses have moved and they're kind of like... They're like not in the right place. Wait, wasn't there like a Shernock stood right there? Or was it the tree? Yeah, like I saw a Shernock and now it's just like disappeared. Oh, look at how enticing it is to just go into the Elderwood. Like the big purple leaves just like calling my name. Look, I heard that. I heard that. I don't need to go back there. Stop trying to make me go back there. Tree! I'm just gonna do this on my own if I can. If not, I'll probably have to try and see if anyone wants to come and do it with me. Wait, I'm not doing it right. I don't think I'm gonna get this on my own. Okay. Floor tree. G2. I am at C2. Top corner of the map. Looks like they fixed the 50-meter target. Now it's not triggering them. Wait, did they? So now it doesn't actually trigger them? Because that would be nice. Considering I'm like a solo player. That would be a hell of a lot nicer. Oh, wait, you mean that... You mean like how it now does trigger them? Yeah, okay, that's... Yeah, it's bugging me a lot. I thought you said that they fixed it. I was like, oh, that's so nice. No, they didn't. It's still broken. Damn it. Please. Stop running! Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. Some things need to be fixed and some things don't. I used to... Oh. Hello? I'm pretty sure that's you. No, it's not. It looked like you for a second. It's not you. I was like, hang on a minute. That looked like Tony. But yeah, that bugs me a lot because like some things do need to be fixed in game, but there's stuff like that that don't need to be. Yeah, I'm aware a little bit. Oh, Raz! Hello! I love how that's like the universal hi in the game, even though there's a there's a waving emote. That's so funny. Wait though, I think Tony's on his way too. I don't want to do it without... Oh, there you are! Yeah! Everyone came to the rescue. Thank you. Hello. See, that's a more normal hello, like... Aww. I'm literally just gonna like hunt a couple more creatures and then it's gonna be time to do hot pot. So, that is all I'm doing. That is all I'm doing. Just like hunting Sherlock. Thank you guys, I appreciate that. I kept seeing people that looked like it could be either one of you and I was like, wait, is it you? No, it's not. What did I just hear? Oh, never mind. He disappeared. Where did it go? I don't even know where it went. Did it go into the same tree? I didn't even see it. I did not even see it. Oh. Where did it go? Ah, I'm stuck! No, I got stuck. That's so annoying. I got stuck on the ridge bit there. It's like bugged. Yeah, there we go. How many of those do I need? I need 3 of those. That's all I really need. But that means we gotta like hunt to try and find them. Oh my god. I just tried to do... I swear, I am so bad. I play one game and then I go into another game and I try and do the mechanic that's in that game. And it's so bad. Wait. Oh, you got it. I gave a man. Oh, I have stuff to pick up. Yeah, I just tried to slide like you do in Fortnite by pressing X. Because that's my side bind. And I obviously didn't slide because that's just not something in this game. So... yeah. That is a problem. That is a problem. Ooh, that one gave him in as well. I wasn't even trying to find these today. But I'll take it. Wait, there's a lot of magical Muujin then. Just no Shernooks. Which is interesting. Oh. This one? Oh. Wait, I could have sworn I hit that. I could have sworn I hit that. In no way. I always think I'd hit the shot and then I always miss it. I thought my inventory was full then. Another mint? Okay, this is good. We're somehow managing to get, like, some good stuff. Wasn't even intending on it. Plus, we did get another plushie today, so... Can't complain too much. Even though Sainsbury's don't want to stock up on my gyozas. I can complain about that. That I am allowed to complain about. Wait, where did that... Oh. I was like, where did that go? Yeah, we'll let you guys get one. On it. Like, all I want is my gyoza dumplings. Like, just... Oh, there's a fluttery. There's another flow-tree. Wait, is this the last one I need? Because honestly, I could have just done a, Oh, what's it called? Oh my god, I haven't done them in so long. Grove. I could have just done a grove, but, like, honestly... I didn't really feel like doing that, because I felt like no one would be here for it, and that would have just been extremely annoying. I did it! Yeah! Okay, now we just try and find magical creatures, I think. Right? Yeah. I think. Oh. 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 We getting money even though I don't need it. This is why I need to try and like stock up on stuff, because I feel like if I go and like sell stuff that I don't even need to sell because I have all the money in the world, it's kind of a little bit annoying. Like I need to start like buying things. I feel a little bit like this is like the A-team situation. Like one of them is chopping the tree down and someone else is like stood there waiting for it. That's so funny. I've never done Muji with other people before, I don't think. Okay, we gotta think about the hot pot soon. Yeah, I'll be in hot pot at 6 if you guys want to join. And then I'll be ending stream after that, I think. Although we might, in fact, we'll end stream after hot pot, but I'll also do... We'll do hot pot and then we'll do Zeki coins and then I'll end. Because I want to see if we can get another plush, maybe. So we'll try. We'll try. So we have like... maybe a little bit more time. I'll probably go home before I go to the market and stuff, but... These mutagens seriously are worth, like, farming. I know a lot of people don't like doing them because of, like, having to chop down trees and stuff. But honestly, like, they're not difficult. They're a little bit annoying, but they're not the worst. And they make a lot of money. Like, if we look at how much I have right now... what have I even gotten for them? 65. These 195. 955. Like, that's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Another one! A starred one! What? What? Conflict between you and the other stream today? Oh. Oh my god. That's hectic. I struggle with doing that. I try so hard to be in like more than one stream at once, but I just forget that I'm trying to watch more than one, and then I get distracted with one. And then like the other person's like replying to a message I sent, and I'm just like, oh no, I forgot. Okay, we have a couple minutes. And then we can go to the market. I haven't even used honey for anything yet. I just realized I haven't like made any of the new recipes or anything. Oh no. She's a fairly new streamer, has 6. Ooh. Is she streaming Palia? In fact, a couple questions. Is she streaming Palia? Does she have follower chat only on? If yes and no, is she still live? And she's a Brit? Oh my god. Oh my god. We might have a little look and see. We may have a little look and see. I would love to raid someone that has like barely started streaming yet. That would be so cute. Especially because I feel like I need to kind of like... I can stick around for a little bit. For a little bit. I at least want to say hi, you know? I don't like raiding and just like full dipping. Wait, we need to go to the market. I'm going to the market if any of you guys wanna join. Yeah, hot pot and Zeki coins. I'm gonna go back home so I can like travel a little bit easier. Let me get our take a screenshot. A screenshot. Oh, I just did what my mom does. I called a picture a screenshot. Love that. Love that. I am literally just gonna put everything in here. But yeah, if you guys want to join, then we'll have an instant 3 table. So. Oh. Wait, I need my coins. Hang on. Do I have any? No, I don't. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Back to miss me? Okay. Okay. Hopefully you get it done and it's not too stressful in the end. Hopefully it was worth it. In fact, let me search her as well. Okay. I love that you can take pictures and like, or a screenshot or something of text and you can copy and paste it now. At least on iPhone. You've probably been able to do that on like Androids for like 10 years now, but I don't care. I think it's cool. Okay, let's go and do this. In fact, we're gonna go buy the Zeki coins now, and I think I'll open them after Hotpot, right? Do I have the stability to do that? Am I gonna be able to do that, or am I gonna be like opening them soon? We'll try and do them now. I won't open them now, but I'll buy them now. The stream. I could have sold stuff actually. I don't know why I didn't do that. I'm gonna buy like 10. No, I'll buy more. I'll buy 16. I don't know why, but I'll buy 16. Oh, that's cute. I haven't seen that one before. And then we'll leave them till after Hotpot. Hopefully I don't forget. 2 out of 4. 2 out of 4. I don't like that one, do I? Let's go to this one. Raz, hello. Is that you? Yeah. I was wondering if you were on your way or not. Okay. I'm gonna try and search her up. Been live for 2 hours. Do we think she's gonna be alive for the rest of the stream? Is this her first stream? I wonder if it's her first stream. Looks like she's new to content creation altogether. Few days now. Okay, so like how long has she been streaming? Do you know? It looks like she's quite new to everything because she's like at the same level of stuff on and everything. I'll keep the stream up so that I don't forget. If I try and end the stream, please tell me to raid because, you know, I hate that. I hate when they do that. I'm like, oh, I forgot to raid. I'm like, okay. I'll see if she's still alive when I end. We can go say hi. I won't be around for too long when we raid, but I'll try and say hi before I leave. I don't like raiding and running too much, but I always have to eat after stream. I started streaming at like 3 p.m. till 6 because I eat at like 2 and 6. And I felt like it was good in the moment, but now I'm always like, oh, I have to run straight after stream. I was like, I have to go like instantly. It's kind of annoying. But if I eat too early, I get hungry, and like the last thing I eat is at like 6. So like, gotta pick my meal times wisely. So let me like look. Let me look in the stream with like my volume on low. Let me know if you can hear that. I don't think you can, but there's no point me like having the stream open if I'm not gonna look. Oh, the old quests as well. Are those like the old quests? Oh my god. I get so nostalgic now with PALIA. I do need to make a new account. Maybe if I make a new account, we can actually like play on it on stream. I'm not too sure though. Maybe to some extent we can play on stream, but we'll see. We'll see. I obviously want to make a new account so that I can like do it properly, so that I can actually like experience it properly, because when I first started playing I was just so like excited to play, I just didn't look at anything. So that's why I want to redo it, make a new account for it. Maybe if I stream it, it might not be a good idea, but we'll see. We'll see. We could do like achievements and stuff on that account, but probably just not quests and things. Probably leave that to like off stream. But yeah, it must be so nice to like, there isn't many games around right now that are like newer, that you can feel that experience with. Because I actually like, as much as some people might be like, you know, I like, there are certain games I've played where I've had that feeling like I did with PALIA, and now there's just like none. And that's why I can't wait for like December. I say December because we have no idea when these games are even out, because they haven't given us a release date. But when Witchbrook comes out, that feeling will start all over again. And then when Lofty comes out, the feeling will definitely start all over again, because it's going to be something we can play together, because it'll be online. Obviously, Witchbrook has... What is it? It's like multiplayer. So we can definitely play that together, but it's not online. You know what I mean? Like, it's just multiplayer, so it's like, I think 4 people. But Lofty is like PALIA, essentially. A solar punk version of PALIA. But yeah, to get to play those on stream for the first time publicly is gonna be so nice. Obviously, I haven't even played Witchbrook yet. They haven't done any like alphas or betas or anything. But Lofty have done alpha tests, and every time they end, I'm sad. I'm sad because I want to keep playing. I want to keep playing so badly. It's such like a fun and chill game. And you guys have to wait till like the end of the year. And that just makes me so sad. But the thing is with Witchbrook, I am really, really hoping. I pray every day that Witchbrook does not get pushed back. Because with them being non-crunch, a non-crunch studio, like no deadlines or anything, it worries me that they're going to cancel it and delay it a little bit. And as much as I understand why they would do that, it just makes me really sad because I really want to play the game. So I'm hoping that everything is going smoothly over there and we can play the game as soon as possible. But like, I appreciate the the time that has gone into making the game perfect. Because, damn, having to move from one engine to another engine too. I love the idea of game development. I do. But at the same time, it sounds so stressful. It sounds so stressful. Like, the amount of patience you have to have for stuff like that. To make a perfect game that people genuinely love. It's like, I really hope that Witchbook gets the love that it deserves. Because it could be a very heavily stapled game within this community of games. And I feel like a lot of people would love it. So here's to hoping. Here's to hoping. My eyes always get very lost when I play this. I'm always like looking at the wrong thing. Like, what did I need again? Oh, what did I click? That one. Like, I'm like a puzzle person, right? I like puzzles, which is why I like games like this. It's like kind of like a puzzle type of game. It's not, but you know, you get the point. It's like along the same wavelength, but I get so lost with them too. Like, I love them, but I always get so lost. Oh, I need to change one of these. See? I always get confused. That one. Okay, one more. I won the last one, right? So I have at least like one set. I think we played 3, so I have at least maybe 2. Hopefully we can get another plushie though before I end stream, because that would be super cool. 2 plushies in one stream? Almost unheard of. Except the first stream I did when I came back. That was hilarious. We were like, oh, I have no plushies, and then all of a sudden there was like 2. Yeah, all I need is another green. All I need is another green. Just one. I think we're near into the end of my playlist. I've got a lot of new songs on this. I got 8 plushies last week. 8?! I got 1 and it was the best one in the game. So I honestly, not mad. Not mad. But I want another one today, if possible. Hopefully. I'm getting better though. Somehow my luck is getting a lot better. I think when you go dormant from the game for a while, it kind of just like messes you up. I don't know why. Like, taking a week off the game seems to be a good thing, but taking like... In fact, I didn't even take time off. I've never really gone a week without playing the game. I just didn't play it properly. I would log in every day, but I barely did anything. It's probably just because I wasn't trying hard enough, and I was just like... I was just jealous of everyone else getting them, but I wasn't doing anything to get it, you know? It's like being upset that someone else won something, but you didn't even enter. Like, what do you mean? You didn't even enter into the competition. You can't be mad that someone else won. That's how it felt, I think. I was just bitter, you know? Oh, I'm going bug-eyed. Oh my god. Yeah, definitely got to give my eyes a rest after this stream. I got Snarl Wednesday, 3 Azura Chapper, 2 Lunar Moth Fairy Moth, and 2 Paper Latin books. Oh my god. How long did it take you to get all of them? Was it like a couple every day, or was it all at once? 'Cause jeez. That's a lot. I'm doing the bug-eyed thing again. My eyes do not like to focus after a while. The rain stopped. That's not good. I like the rain. Make it rain again. God, I won. I would like it to start raining before I end stream so that it can rain when I'm chilling after stream because I love that. The 3 Azure Trapper were literally about 15 minutes. I did get 2 of the... This is like the biggest flex ever for me. It's like the only flex I have in Paleo. Except for being like an alpha player or whatever, but... That gets boring to hear, right? But like the 2 Shernuk plushies I got at once. I think they were Elder Shernuks too. That's my only time. Got beans on the table? No! No, someone stole your spot? Was it this person? Do I feel like I remember this name? That's not good. People are like pushing in today. Damn. It's okay. I'll forgive them for now, but you know, deep down inside I have that like situation again where I'm like, I'm gonna pretend I'm not mad at you, but I figure out what they need so I don't give it to them. I wish I could. But like, you're not winning anything. I must win this now to avenge you. I must win. Could win though. I do have almost 4 sets right now. No ads. Snooze ads. Snooze the ads. See, if they go to the prize wheel now to go and use their coins, just push in front. Oh, my so much better 2 table spaces. Oh, so are you joining another one then? Did you join another? It's still really annoying when people do that though. I almost did that like for some reason when we last came down here, like, oh, I've TP'd home. Oh, damn. Damn. I nearly did that on accident. Like, I didn't even think about it. I was just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna go join this table because this person hasn't readied up yet. But they were stood there and I was like, no, why would I do that? That's rude. You know? So I didn't. Oh no, I'm clearing notifications I wanted to look at. What am I doing? I always do that. Oh, yeah, it wasn't even a good notification anyway. I won though! Fine, I avenged. At least they didn't win. Okay, I am gonna go and do all my coins now though. So I'm getting super tired and I don't think I can pause ads for too long. So we'll see what I can get. And then we'll go say hi to my new friend. Deco! Fireworks we don't care about. Oh, we don't care about those. Manifesting 1 million plushies. Wait, what did I get? I got fireworks, which we don't care about. Decor, which could be good. And ingredients. Hey. Oh, fireworks, man. Okay, what is this? Oh, it's a painting! Nice. Nice. Okay, we're gonna go do the plushies. I'm gonna do them down here because this is where I get the good look. And oh, I need this little fox. What's he called again? I can't remember what they call them. The Kitsu? Don't forget to raid. I've got her up on my my phone. I'm gonna do that. Ancient Kitsu. So cute. I have that bird. Is it blue? What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, let's do this. So we have 16 of them. And so far, it doesn't seem to be that good. Oh my god, that's not even usable. Oh my god. Oh, this hurts. No, wait, that just happened. I said I wanted it, and the game was like, here you go. Have it. I'll be nice today. You can have it. Oh, manifesting Kitsu. Oh my god. That just made everything so much better. That just made everything so much better. And we got a bookshelf. Smoke bombs, which I can't use. Let's go. Oh, we can't do that yet. Damn it. We'll go up and do it. Oh my god, guys. This has to be a tradition now. So I have to make a little bit of money now because I have like 500k because I bought the coins. But when you buy the coins, you actually get plushies. If you earn the coins, you don't get plushies. But if you buy them, you get plushies. I think I figured it out. Every time I've earned a coin, I have never gotten a plushie from it. But every time I buy like 15, 20 or more, like I get them. Without a doubt. Every time. So, we seem to have broken the system. I don't even know how, but I do not care. I am super happy. Now we have 2 really cute plushies that I did not have until the last week. So I don't know how I did it, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay. Let's say hi. He's so cute. Oh, I wanted to put him next to this guy. Oh, I can't. Oh, well. Hello. Oh, he's so cute. Oh my god, the little chest fluff. Oh my god. We have to do his ads again. Oh my god. Oh my god, I didn't even mean to take the picture. My last lucky box opening was 160 and I got 10. That's crazy business. Like, they're just so, like, uncommon. It's insane. Okay, let's put him there. And then let's just, like, put all of this in here. Oh. Never mind. That'll be a problem for tomorrow. That will be a problem for tomorrow. We ignore that for now. Okay, let me get on Twitch. Mute the stream. Mute the stream. Yeah, mute the stream because it's opening up my stream, isn't it? Okay, what was that? Let me copy and paste it from your messages. Tony, you have 999 messages right now. Oh my god, you guys have been here for so long now. Just like constant. I love it. Appreciate you guys. There we go. Okay, if you guys want to join the raid, I would appreciate it. And I will be... Oh, I thought it was counting down for me then. I should be live tomorrow. I've planned to stream today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. I will not be live on Friday, though. I had to cancel that stream. But yes, we will finish up the rest of the weeklies tomorrow and hopefully get more plushies. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 3 p.m. BST. I keep putting BET on accident, but it's BST. So I'll see you guys then. Bye. Oh, ending, not starting.